Hello, I'm Moira McPartlin and I'm the Scriever for the Federation of Writers Scotland. And today I am absolutely delighted and thrilled to interview Linda Jaxson. Now, Linda Jaxson is a well-kent face to many of the Federation of Writers members, but I hope you'll find out some things about her today that you didn't know. Linda Jaxson, or Jaxson with an X, writes fiction, memoir, song, poetry. She's worked in academia and taught creative writing, both in the academic setting and also in communities. In 2019, Linda founded the small press Seahorse publication and works towards publishing those who may find it difficult to find an outlet. As a musician, Linda, for much of her life, Linda has enjoyed performing and encouraging others to do so. She reads her work at literary festival and events across Scotland, and she also works with other writers at events and has been hosting and managing for 20 years. And these have proved very successful. And she especially enjoys liaising with writers, organisers and managers to grow their projects. And she's been really busy recently with her, is it Wonder Women?
Wanderlust Women.
Wanderlust Women, and has actually gone as far as Italy and Ireland, is that right, with that particular band of troubadours. So I'd love to introduce you to Linda. I call her an impresario, but as the introduction shows, she's very much a polymath. So how would you describe yourself, Linda?
I would just love to be a monomath at one point in my life, just to get paid to do something. But I don't know, I've always been very, very busy. I think I was gifted with a nice amount of energy. I'm not very good at putting the stop button on my own energy though now, but yeah, I would describe myself as principally a singer, which is my longest memories of what I do. But as I've said to many people, I feel blessed because as a young child in a housing scheme in Paisley, I used to set up my blackboard and set up it was Barbie and Tracy dolls at the time, her hair dolls. Yeah, used to set them up and use my blackboard to teach them. And then I'd put the blackboard down and I would bring in the Hoover plug, leave the Hoover outside and sing, move them over a wee bit to a different environment, and then I would sing to them. So I feel absolutely grateful to whatever is out there, just that's the life I've led, and it's always the life I've wanted to lead. Is, you know, so many people don't get that opportunity. So my entire earning life and fun life has been doing what I always wanted to do. But I would say in my heart, I'm primarily a singer, but in some ways I see it as stagecraft. I don't mean I perform as a teacher, but it's a gifting out if you're the right sort of teacher. If you're a vocational teacher, I believe it's a gifting out, and I sing as a gifting out. So it's not that different.
I first knew you as a teacher, I think, through the Scottish Writers' Centre. You were teaching at the Nautical College, is that right there? What did you teach? Was that your academic career, or did you have an academic career before that?
Before that, I did a doctorate in Virginia Woolf and Friedrich Nietzsche, which was hardcore, I have to say.
Oh yeah.
I did that. I was very interested in the contrast or conflation of modernism and postmodernism at that time, and I was very cerebral. You know, I just was always reading, and I just followed that through. And 1994, I got my doctorate, and previous to that, I taught in Strathclyde University in the literature department, taught modernism. And I was very, very fortunate to go with the British Council down to Oxford and teach there, Belfast. It was these summer school courses that lasted quite a wee while, 3 or 4 weeks. We did it maybe for, I don't know, 6 years. Fabulous experiences and great people that I worked with. including Willie Maley and Elizabeth Mahoney, you know, Martin Montgomery, great team we had. I did the literature with Elizabeth, and that experience of the academy was extraordinarily good. But the general thing, it didn't allow me to accommodate the other side of my character, because it's very, very much in the books in the library. But I carried it through because I'd started it. I actually got a referral in my first doctorate because I lost a child, and then I carried on in another child. He was born in 93 and I submitted my new doctorate in 94. So that was a hard call. It was a hard call. But yeah, so I taught in the academy proper then. And then I was singing a lot again after that, because I had found that whole thing, it's hard to balance both, because academic life really is academic life.
It's a sort of different part of your brain, isn't it?
It's a different thing. You can teach, you can do things, but the focus you require for that was the monomath. That time. That certainly wasn't me. So I had a young child as well. So I went back to playing at night time, loved it, joined a kind of rock band at that time, had a great time. And then as we all do, I needed to get the regular job. I applied to the Nautical College and created a course. It was an HNC in professional writing skills. And I created that with Dave Manderson and Dave White. And we put it, was it Dave Manderson? Dave White, anyway, definitely was involved. And we created that, and it got through the SQE and everything. So I went to the Nautical College and started that up with 4 students. And it ended up with 2 or 3 strands by the time I left. So I was there for 15 years. It became the City of College. I became curriculum development. And I was always very interested in cross-fertilisation of the arts in the college. And City College really gave me an opportunity to work with filmmakers, tried very hard with the drama as well. And to me, there's much better results if you can, you know, get people to work with photographers, with artists, so I was getting my writing students to write scripts for the drama students or the filmmakers. So it was a great time there as well. But, you know, I decided to take early retirement through health, really, about 58. And then I just did one thing ever since then.
That's great. So I'm going to ask you now about your projects and how you managed to organise them, because even just your history, you've got so many things going on, but you've still got so many things going on. So could you tell us just a little bit about the projects that you've got on the go just now?
Projects just now, I set up a new organisation called SCAP, and we can talk about that in a minute.
I was going to ask you about that.
I'm the CEO of that, so I'm involved with that. I've obviously got the publishing company, which is doing quite well at the moment, Seahorse Publications. I'm on a wee bit of go slow. I was like producing a book a month there, but not getting any time to write my own work. I'm trying to complete a second memoir and also a second collection of poetry. So I'm hoping to do them by the end of the year. And I have a novel that's been lying for years that I would like to do. Again, it requires much more one-dimensional focus.
Novels definitely do.
Novel needs that, and the way my life is just now. I'm also, after COVID, resurrecting my musical life just now and just getting a nice, it's like we jazz 3-piece together, which I'm enjoying rehearsing. So yeah, I mean, I think I still try and keep as many of the balls in the air as I can. What I want more time for just now is my own writing and my own band. I go in and out of what I see as the gifting, and then I just say, right, it's time for me for a wee while.
Yeah, that's great.
My own things.
You've got the events at Avant-Garde.
Yeah.
You organise that, and then there's your Wanderlust Women things, and you are actually running a writing course in Italy coming up soon. Is that right? Is it?
Yeah, the Wanderlust Women, that was me just, I mean, really winging it. I just phoned someone I knew in Italy and got in touch with a girl in the University of Pisa. I got talking to her. We ended up going over there to these marvellous, you know, final year literary students, English literature, but very focused in Scotland. And that was incredible. So the 3 of us performed there. And that book was just me during COVID feeling I like to travel in my mind and otherwise. And I think now even mind travels became difficult because people the way their mind works and suggestion, we've kind of closed ourselves down a wee bit. Not everyone, but a lot of people, you know, even if COVID was gone tomorrow, I think neuroscientists have shown that people would still be reluctant, just because that's how we've managed to set, that's the frame we're in. I was determined to stay, and because of my health, I spent the first 6 months literally in the house of COVID, so it's not me. I've been travelling with music since I'm 15, so I was very frustrated. So I approached Leslie Benzie, Tracy Patrick at the time, and Adriana Campbell, and I said, why don't we bring out a book that follows our travels and lets us redream them and revisit them? And it's been really, really successful, to be honest. It really has. We've been working with an organisation called Stage Scotland and Europe. Scotland and Europe, and that's we've been working with them. That's where the Trinity College thing has come from. We're going to Paris and we're going to Berlin this year as well with them.
That's fantastic.
So the Italy thing, when I was over there, I'm always kind of, whoa, you know, I'm plugging in with musicians, plugging in with fabulous people, really artistic people that I revere now, you know, just looking at the work. So I thought, right, I've taken students for years to different trips, Paris, London, all over Scotland. So I thought, I'll do this. So it's all happening now, and I've booked all the things all mapped out, all the different, and I'm bringing in some people to do some of the tutorials. I've booked the town hall in Barga, a teaching room, booked minibuses to take us to the Casa de Pascali. It's going to be fabulous.
Oh, but I mean, that is a lot of work to do all the organising as well. It's not just turning up and teaching, it's all that organisation beforehand. That's fantastic. I was really tempted to go. I don't have time this year, but if you do it again, I'm definitely tempted to go. It's just
lovely. It really is looking lovely. I'm a wee bit, you know, I'm getting a bit kind of, because I'm going maybe a week in advance just to physically do the checks on everything that's been done. You know, I know the rooms and I know everything. I know the people. I just, you know, obviously it's a big thing to me. People over there, it's just part of their life. So I need to go and plug back in, and then everyone arrives. And it's quite tight. I mean, MD goes in these courses with me, I'll tell you, I don't, off you go and do this and I'll see you later. It's not like that. So people end up with a lot by the end. Give them time, and then I'll try and bring out a pamphlet about, you know, Barga, and have a visit and a wee booklet, you know.
That's brilliant.
I know, I'm excited.
Oh, so can you tell us a little bit about SCAP?
SCAP, well, I don't know why. I mean, I must have had 5 minutes of a space that I thought I could fill, and decided that one of the things I'd always liked doing was, as I say, that cross-fertilisation of the arts. So SCAP, it's completely different from Seahorse, because that's my thing, where SCAP's a charity, and it's Seahorse Creative Arts and Publication. I kept the Seahorse name just to help maybe a bit of a springboard.
Yes.
But it's entirely separate. We've got a nice board and everybody's talented and able. And it's about looking at photography, exactly all the things I've all been interested in. Music, obviously, big time, art, painting, sculpture, dance, and all of that. And then trying eventually, once we're hoping to have a festival next year that will bring all of it together. The creative writing, and there will be a book come out of it as well that I'm starting to just think about now, and the book will be launched at the festival. The dancers will show what they've learned at the festival. There'll be paintings. I just love the idea of all of it, and then at one point bringing some texts together, you know, getting writers in to write to the tango dancers or into write to the flamenco dancers while they're dancing. You know, I'm really keen for all that.
Yeah.
And I've always done it with my classes. I'll maybe play some tango music or whatever, and I'll show them films. But I thought, why not just make this live, you know, that they can be there and feel it as well.
Yeah.
So that's really what SCAP's about, is to try and mix and match and look at everything. Not everything, but quite a few areas that I know I have people there, including myself, that could be able in that environment, you know.
I've certainly seen like artists painting in response to music or in response to the written word, but it just sounds as though there's a real sort of mix and melting pot of lots and lots of different things going on. You must be really excited about it.
I'm excited about it. So it's been a lot of work and just now feels a bit more than it should be, but that's just at this beginning, you know, we're just at the very early stages. So today I'll be introducing the salsa dance classes, and I might just take part for a bit of fun and exercise.
Oh yeah.
So that's today, and they're every Wednesday for a while, and then there'll be hiatus, regroup, and then these are all taster sessions. We'll see if people can uptake them, and obviously the writing thing will come in when these are a bit more established, because I've got people to come in and watch them doing it and get their permission then to write to it, and I'm looking forward to a book that will come out of that. You know,
that's fantastic. So is there any dream that you've had since you were a wee girl, or just happened recently, that something that you've always wanted to do, and you just, with all this going on in your life, you've just never managed to do it, but you still want to do it? Is there anything there, apart from being just being able to work on one thing? Is there anything?
I think I still, I suppose somewhere deep down, I had quite a lot of musical opportunities when I was younger, but I had children at 19, pregnant at 19, so you have to make a choice as a woman in writing, a woman in music, without any doubt. It's very difficult. I did have 2 husbands who were very supportive in me going touring, and you're away for a week, 2 weeks, your kids are, you know, and any more success comes, it's only more of that. So I remember thinking maybe a couple of occasions things could have maybe taken off, and the kids say to me now as adults, you know, my daughter the other day was saying, Mum, you could have done, you know, blah blah, and I said that it's not a case of if that or this. With me there was no choice. It didn't come down to a choice. It was obvious where I should be. So if I could play with it, but I think now I think there's certain stages in the world, actual stages, would be lovely to sing on them, you know.
Oh, that's a great dream.
It's a great dream, and you
share
know,
any of them with us?
well, I
stages.
would love to sing in the Royal Concert Hall. I've not done it, and I have played various Celtic connections, so I've not sang there. That would be fabulous. And there's a lovely place in Canada that I did go to and watch again. I remember thinking the acoustics were fantastic up in Nova Scotia. So these are things I think dreams, it's quite nice to have them as dreams. I think if you've lived all your dreams, what do you do then?
No, I know.
So, you know, I'm okay with them being there, but they don't tap me or upset me or make me crave. I feel absolutely grateful to the time I've put in and the life I've been given back. I've got 3 wonderful kids. The life they had with me as a musician, I thought they'd be getting sectioned by now or something terrible like that. But actually, they all love music. They're players. They've all got the degrees and all that. You know, they're very independent, and probably at this age now you feel they're maybe too independent. You know, I think we can get at this age a wee bit more needy of our kids in a way that's I think it's just here, especially if there's been health issues, you kind of get a wee bit worried, you know. And I think now we see a lot of people, and especially after COVID, we lost a lot of people. So I think family becomes a bit more intense as you get older, when your kids are getting on with their life and they're doing well, and that's what you should be grateful for.
Yeah, that's right. It sounds as though the life that you led as a singer has actually, in some ways, enriched their life, because it's been slightly different, maybe from their pals or something like that.
I mean, my daughters, they're all storytellers as well, and sometimes it can be quite embarrassing, you know, because they say, do you remember the time Mum took us to live in a cave north of Africa, you know? And I'm like, smiling, trying to look at my cardigan buttons like a, you know, a sensitive woman, quiet and whatever, and they're just like, that must have been great. And then they'll say to me later, it was, Mum, you know, it was just we realised we're a different kind of life, you know.
Yeah, that's great. So the people watching this video are members of the Federation of Writers, and I've always wanted to try and bring something to help them with their business. So if is there any advice you can give if anyone watching thinks, oh, maybe I could set up my own event, or maybe I could set up my own writing course, or is there any sort of practical advice that you can give to the members to help them with their own business?
Well, the most practical advice is, you know, you have to, I would say, is book things and organise things well in advance. I have things in place well before, because things will change. Your own energy levels might change, you know. So I would say the most important thing is get things. And I also think, without being, you know, mad on the timing, but make sure that you organise events, send out a set list. And if you don't send the set list when you go there, you let people know where they're on. And the other thing I would say is very important is I go to bed quite early now, and I get up early, and I'm grateful because I've got quite a lot of energy. But I think if you're going to do any of these things, the most important thing is preparation and time planning above all else. Because there's so much talent here. Once you get people there and they kind of know what they're doing. I also think you have to be careful as well about the kind of groupings you bring together. Sometimes I've brought people together, it doesn't work, you know, and you know, creative people can be quite egocentric, so without any doubt. So you have to, I think, sometimes watch for how you bring certain people with others. You don't have, you need an atmosphere. I think my job is to make people think with their heart. That's what I've always felt, and also to make them share what they do, instead of, you know, the wee kid at school that sits like this. And then other people will say, no problem, whatever. I always think, as a creative writing teacher, and it's a silly thing probably, but I hope that when I'm working with people at the end of the sessions or the end of the weeks, they'll feel like better people. Because of some of the texts we've chosen. And what they've learned from these texts, and what I've learned from them. It isn't me as a great jug pouring down, it's us sharing philosophical and emotional knowledge. I always get disappointed if I see that didn't work. You know, you see people running about with their book waving in the air because they've made it or whatever. It's just a bit embarrassing for me, because I feel, well, I failed there. But as someone pointed out, you can't be responsible for that, you know.
No, you're not, you can't, no.
It's just, but it's one of these kind of ideals, I suppose, that in working with these things like music and the arts, people grow as human beings. And yeah, that's what you hope. You hope at an event everybody leaves quite happy, or at least have been impacted in a way it makes them think differently, or work as better human beings for the world. We've got that it's quite a big ambition, but and the way towards that is timing and seeing who's in the room together. In terms of on the stage together, you don't have any of that batting one another down or anything. It's just horrible.
I think from what you've been saying throughout this whole interview, is what comes across is that you are yourself a very generous writer. You believe in helping other writers, you believe in sharing everything, and certainly it doesn't sound as though any of your ego gets in the way of that. And you're also, the other thing that is coming across is that you are incredibly conscientious. I mean, going out a week early to make sure that everything is working, and you want the best for your students, which is a fantastic thing. And that is coming through in everything that you're doing, which is, it's fabulous to hear.
I don't have, the other thing is I am not in a relationship and my children are grown up. So you know, when I'm in a relationship, a lot of this goes to the wall because it's 100% with everything. So it's very time consuming. So I'm in a luxury position just now that I would avoid that like the plague. And I don't think it's a plague, it's a lovely thing. But, you know, in love, in lust, in a relationship would half my output.
But that's okay to look after you and to look out for number one, because that is okay as well. Yeah,
and that is how I look after number one. by being on my own.
Well, that's fair enough. That's fair enough as well. So what's next then? You've got all this happening, but is there something else?
The next thing, I mean, I've a couple of things that I would like to do. I would like to make a new CD next year, which would be probably, I don't mean the best of, that sounds a bit on the way out, but you know, looking at some of the albums, I brought one out, I loved it, the one I brought out, just one song I didn't like during lockdown, and it sold all the ones I bought, but it was all kind of sold ad hoc, wasn't it? So I would like to take some of the songs from I've got 6 albums. I'd like to take some of the songs from them and write a couple of new ones and bring out a new one next year or the year after, depends how long it takes to get it sorted and rehearsed. I'd love to do that. I would like to get the novel out. So you're going to see how unselfish, because everything that's next, I hope, will be things that are my own things, you know, that I would like to find the time to work on, and I will.
That's good. Well, it's good to hear. Anyway, I think, is there anything you would like to add then? Because we've covered quite a lot, but it's been absolutely fascinating talking to you, Linda. So is there anything that you would like to add that I haven't put in the questions for you?
No, I think that's fine. I would just say, aren't we lucky to live in this country that's just like a cultural explosion at the moment? And I think it's something to do with the politics of the UK, whether you're for independence or whether you're just looking at what's happening in Westminster and thinking, there's a helplessness, I think. And I think what we're finding here is like a cultural stamp that's been put on across everything, all the arts. And it is amazing. I think it must be amazing for people visiting this small country and seeing what we produce. And I have produced for a long time, but right now it's like a volcano erupting, you know. It's wonderful. I feel so happy to be part of that environment.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, I think the pandemic has had a lot to do with it as well. We've been locked in for so long, and we've got all this energy and all this creativity that we just need to get out and enjoy it all.
We're doing our best, Moira.
I know.
Sometimes I feel so regretful. I would love to have been in the CCA last night.
I know.
After my grandson. In fact, I was in Kelvin Back Gallery and Colette Cohen came up and went, Linda, and I said, oh, hello. And she was going to meet somebody, and I had my wee lad. And I thought, I'm not going to get to this tonight because I just, you know, I knew that I was just pushing it. And as I say, it's my daughter's birthday today. So I've been in memory labour since 4:45 this morning. I kind of knew that would happen. So I thought, I need to get home. So I would love to have been at that.
There's a poem in there somewhere. Memory labour. Oh, great title. Well, thank you so much, Linda. It's been
Thanks for asking me.
Thanks very much. Talk to you. And I hope that everybody watching this video today enjoys it as much as I've enjoyed talking to Linda. So until the next time, I just like to say goodbye.
Thanks very much, Moira. Bye-bye.